Thursday, getting close to the end of the week here. Um, and we are back on Greenleaf Acres. I had actually wanted to do another PTR visit, was going to do some bonus tours of a few places, but as it turns out, those places are still unavailable. So maybe I'll see about lining that up for tomorrow. So in the meantime, we're going to be here on my alts plot, the Easter/spring plot, and see if we can build some new little thing on it. Let me do a tweet real quick before I forget. That is done. And good morning, Soccer. Glad you could join us. And let's see what we got here. It's kind of a home/farmy type of plot. I've got a windmill now. Now I have a vegetable garden, which we worked on, I guess it was yesterday. And we've added a little wishing well or water well, which it still bugs me that the bottom disappears at a certain distance, but that's just how it goes. I haven't really done anything since we tinkered around with the garden, so we're just going to kind of wing it. Not sure what exactly we're going to build. I put down Rowsdower shelter. What that exactly means, I have no idea, but mostly right now I'm just kind of looking for an open space that makes sense. Looks like it would accommodate such a thing. I guess we'll just put it right here. I can always move these elements later. I'm not too worried about that, but just want to find a good place to kind of work around. I did collect some Rowsdower plushies. For those that don't know, they used to be available through an open world challenge. I think it was called the Terror Ridge Mine Challenge or something. I don't know the name exactly, but it was one of those where you had to disarm some mines before they blew up the little Rowsdower. And if you successfully did that like 8 or 9 times in a row, you got a chance to win a Rowsdower plushie. That used to be the only way you could farm up Rowsdower plushies. Well, since they changed how the challenges work, most if not all of the decor that you would get through challenges, that includes housing challenges, all went to like their corresponding vendors, which usually means reputation vendors. So things like the sparking wire and the stack of plastic coins and the Rowsdower plushie and like the blue light lounge table, all those things that you used to have to farm challenges for, now they're available on vendors. Now, while that's not new news, old news, a lot of people still kind of forget what vendors to go to, and I've been using a kind of like a spreadsheet thing that someone created that has a listing of all of the vendor available decor and to which vendor they are attached. So that means it shows the zone and like the required reputation level, like if it's accepted or beloved or whatever. And that's what I use when I am searching for a particular formally challenge acquired decor. So for your convenience, for those that weren't aware of it and would like to bookmark it or something, I do have that added to my resources section on the Twitch channel page. It's at the very bottom of the list. It's called the Rep Vendor Decor List, and it just sends you straight to their little, it's like a Google's Google page or something, a Google Doc page. I forget who created it, but I'm very appreciative because I use it quite often. So you can now bookmark it and access it yourself. There are other places, like Jabba Hole will probably have a lot of the locations and stuff, but this is just a real convenient reference list of those decor. Now keep in mind that it also includes any decor that was already available on those vendors. Hey Maddie, welcome to the show. Um, and a lot of those are bind on pickup, but things like the Rowsdower and the stack of coins and the sparking one and all those aren't bind on pickup. So before you purchase them, just double check the fine print on the decor item itself to make sure. Because if you're intending to send it to an alt, some of those items aren't shareable. You have to actually get the rep with your alt. For instance, it lists the carrot plushie, which is available from, I think it's Galeris Skywatch, but you have to actually have the reputation with Galeris to be able to purchase it and use it on your own plot because it is bind on pickup. So just a word of caution, mind that all of those listed aren't necessarily free for trading around or whatever. So, but rather than, I still see people listing these on the auction house, the Rowsdower plushies and so forth. And rather than spend, several gold, you can just spend, a few copper and get most of them. So anyway, so when I'm setting down a plushie as an NPC, I always go out into open world and kind of see just in relation to my own character the size of the creature that I'm putting down. So the Rowstowers, I went to I think it's Trimmer Ridge in Algarock to take a look at the size of them. Hey Gabe, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. It's always nice to see people in the chat. Anyway, I had a look. The rest are pretty large compared to my Orin, so I wanted to make sure that kind of to get the scale right, I wanted my plushies to be about the same size. So for her, I think the back of them kind of comes up to just around the neck or so. It may be a little bit bigger, but I think this is pretty close. So now that I have a size, then I can know what size of shelter I want to use or want to build for them. Um, so we're just going to have the one kind of as a guide as far as size and everything, and then we're going to set out some building materials. Now, since I've been using the Draken fences for a lot of the construction of the walls and the archway and the windmill and even the water well, I think I'm going to stick with that partially. We'll see how that goes. Hey Varg, good morning. Glad you could join us. So, let's see what kind of fences we have. I don't want to use the curved ones. I want some straight ones. So, let's see. Go to the fencing section. Curved one. Yeah, let's plop one of these down, and then I'm also thinking about the type of roof I want. You could do a variety of building. I mean, I don't have to use the Draken fences. You can use 2x4s if you want. You could use staircase landings for the walls. You could just use walls or floors, any of those things. I'm just trying to stick kind of with the building materials that I've been using just to kind of keep it similar. But for the roof, I think I'm going to go with rain gutters to kind of make my own corrugated roofing. I'm going to lay one of those out and see how we do. Now I may use other materials like the 2x4s that I mentioned, but for now we're going to see how this works, just to kind of get an idea. Now when I talk shelter, I'm not talking like a barn or anything. I'm talking more like something they would go up under if it just starts to rain and they want a little bit of cover from that. So it's going to be kind of not a full-on building, but just like some sides and mostly like a little bit of a roof. It might keep their food dry, that kind of thing. So again, I'm kind of building around the Rowsdower just to kind of get a a good catch on the size that I want. Yeah, I might actually want this one the other way. You could use maybe the wooden ranch fence. That would probably work all right with something like this. Again, I'm not making it overly large. I don't want to get too big. I may end up going an extra wall deep. But we'll see. We'll see how that works. Now I noticed there was a thread, and I've already submitted a reply on my own just to kind of throw in my support for a request about it. But there is a thread in the housing forums, if you haven't seen it, discussing a lot of the bugs and glitches that we kind of on a daily basis encounter. They talk about like the one where when you go to purchase something from the housing vendor, sometimes it doesn't change to place it, it stays crate it. So you'll be like tinkering with it, getting it just the way you want, and then you go to place it and realize that it says crate it instead. There's also the thing where you go to move it and it kind of rotates on its own. Well, Katya's add-on fixes that for most of us. You can't assume that everybody uses that particular add-on. You really shouldn't have to have an add-on to fix the glitches like that. It's nice that, you know, it's available for those of us that, you know, want to use it, but it's really something they should sort out, you know, internally within the game. There's a bunch of other ones maybe like we experienced the other day where I was placing an item and the green arrow, which normally would be like the up and down, it was like making it move sideways instead, where it's, you know, just weird things like that. And it's helpful, you know, while you may not have anything additional to add, you know, if you can just like the post or say, yeah, I'm experiencing the same stuff, it will kind of highlight it for Carbine devs, especially housing devs, to know that, yeah, look, we've put up with these things for, you know, in some cases, many, many, many months, and it's, you know, we feel it's time that, you know, they be addressed, or at least give us a heads up that, hey, they're working on it. It's not as easy a fix as, you know, we would hope, but, you know, we're trying. That would be something. But if there's any glitches or bugs that haven't been mentioned that you are experiencing, you know, it would be helpful to add that information into. Okay, I think I'm going to send this out like so. again, I'm just eyeballing things. I'm not really taking any kind of measurements. I'm just looking at how, like, see this kind of like is a little jagged, so I just push it in a little bit till it looks good to my eye. I'm not really checking anything beyond that. Whether that's a great way to build is up for debate, I'm sure. There's a lot of builders that I know that are prefer to be a lot more precise than that. So my style of building is certainly not up their alley, but anyway. Okay, so let's see. What kind of pillars did I use on the water well? That's what I'm going to check. I think it was the Oran style, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Oran. So I think that's what I'll use over here as well. Again, you don't have to use the same materials. You can, mix and match it. But for me, I kind of like that it looks like they use the same stuff, dug it from the same quarry or whatever. So I'm going to grab some pillars. And .5 is going to be a little too small, but we'll try it there first. I think we'll actually bring this up even a little bit more. That'll make more sense. I might wish that was flat. And we'll try it like this first, though. See how bad it looks. The lovely thing about custom, you try something. If it doesn't work for you, just change it up a little bit. Okay. Like so. Oops, I didn't even try that again. I think sometimes I forget to place it with the right buttons. There we go. And spin around. Might be a little on the big side, but oh well. We'll try it. Oops, I just sent that to Crate, didn't I? Oh gosh. Yay for hitting the wrong button. Well, for crying out loud. I'm just hitting all sorts of wrong stuff. We'll get it. We'll get it shortly. Maybe. Sort of. Okay, so I want to have some kind of a, what I'd like is like a, maybe a straight and then have a angled roof this way. If that makes sense. I really don't know if that's gonna look right or not. You could probably have like an arched roof if you want, or completely straight. That would work too. I'm just wanting to experiment with different stuff, so we'll see how it looks. I'm even thinking that using them this big is probably not a good idea, but try. So I have these at this particular angle, and it looks kind of weird because it looks off angled anyway, even though it's, you know, squared up. But to make it easier on myself, I'm going to turn it a bit like I want it, the slant of it. And again, I'm just eyeballing. I'm not like saying, okay, it has to be at 35 or a certain degree or anything like that. I'm just picking one and then making sure that it's with the object. If you change it to world, it changes the way the arrows affect it. So keep it with the object, and then just gonna kind of start bringing it out. Again, I'm not really paying too much attention as far as distance. I'm not like making sure that they're equidistant or anything like that. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Because you know, if this is like a, you know, a little home farm, maybe they, you know, don't have the right tools, or they just kind of, you know, kind of build it willy-nilly, kind of thing like that. And the reason I'm extending it so far, even though it goes well beyond the angle that I wanted, I'm thinking I may shrink these down and use them like in a pair kind of thing. I'm not quite decided yet because these feel too big. So I'm going to link these up to the first one. Just going to half them. Feels a little bit better for me anyway. And since we're kind of wanting to match up with the roof, I'm going to change the angle just to kind of match it a little better. Like so. Now, since we want to double that, and hopefully it matches pretty well, we're going to just hop into Katia's add-on, go to the Tools, Set Manager, and make a set of those. That was for the carrot cake. So you add linked set, then you just say place all on link, and then drag the set right on over. And then I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to push it And then we're gonna get down again. Woo, 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 woo. It's almost like I purposely sized it just so, isn't it? Almost freaky sometimes how that works. Probably not exact, but it's pretty dang close. That is so weird how that worked out. So now I'm just going to, I'll clear this one, add this new set at the different angle, and then I'll just say place on link, and then I'll push it over. And see how quick and easy that was? It was like magic. I promise, if you haven't used Katya's add-on yet, you'll quickly feel how fast and convenient it can be. Yeah, I like that. The little Mr. Rowsdower has a little shelter here for himself if it decides to rain or something like that. So you could put the water trough down that we have. And notice I'm still sticking with the I don't know what you call it, the right angles or whatever, keeping with that, because it's just easier to build. You know, once you've created the little set you want, if you want to offset it, you know, turn it so it's a little different, you know, not perfectly square, that's your business afterward, but it's much easier to build with it all straight and everything first. Wow. I ate breakfast, but my stomach is still complaining that I didn't give it enough. Let's see. I think we have some hay. Actually, have a couple. We got like the hay bale and the hay pile. But got several piles because I'd actually thought about trying to make some little hills out of them, but again, I couldn't find the right kind of grass that looked close to the Celestion colors. At least not to my taste, so I just decided to leave it out and went with using the Hugels instead. I'll put the big hay bale. Wow, that is really outside. That is a humongous hay bale. Now he's got like his little foodstuffs and water, and he's good to go. And I'm going to put some additional friends of his out here. And of course, if you want, you can change up the sizes if you want, like a little baby Rowsdower, you know, standing next to his mom or something like that. There's a little shelter. I'm trying to think what else we could put on that. You know, if you want to get fancy, you could like throw out a pitchfork, which would basically just be a fork, and oversize it. Look at that thing. It's like little teeny weeny. Just oversize it a bit. Now, you know, when I'm doing stuff like this, again, I'm measuring it to my bore, and that just looks really too huge. Something like around that looks about right. Just lean that up against the hay bale there. You could, add another wheelbarrow if you want. Use the hover barrow if you don't want to make your own custom one. Let's see. I think I got another crate you can put on this side. Wow, rotated that wrong. And I don't know, what else do we got in here? We got like stack or bag. Put a stack of something. Maybe it's tools, or maybe that's where they keep the shears for the Rowsdower when they're going to trim their big old fluffy coats for stuffs. Who knows? There's a shelter. Beyond that, I have no idea what we're going to work on. I really didn't plan it out too much. Guess we can see about adding something for the bench here. I've been saying I want to put something in, and I keep putting it off, and I have no idea what we're going to make. There's of course the trellis. Where is that? Not the fruit one. Where's the other one? Yeah, the regular trellis. That you can, wow, I just closed that up, didn't I? Goodness gracious. I meant to just close the picture, not the vendor. You could use a couple of these. I see how that worked. I went to buy it, but it didn't say place. It just said create it. So if I had actually gone through the trouble of rotating it, sizing it, positioning it how I wanted before I bought it, I'd have to do that all over again because it's creating it instead of placing it. It's just one of those things that people's been talking about. Wish different. Oops. I think that kind of borked it up as well. Let me just reload. I'm getting a lot of errors here. Thanks, Varg. Like I said, it's just the little simple plot. I'm building it for a guild event, so nothing fancy. I didn't come in thinking, okay, I'm going to build a farm. I just wanted to put in things that would help me have some extra places to hide eggs. That, again, is what the guild event is about. Okay, now since this is at an odd angle, I'm just going to have to guess about what looks straight in comparison to the rest. And hope that it kind of works out all right. So I think what we'll do here is I'm just going to get a second one. And again, I can't really give it an exact. And let's see, I don't know if I've got this all linked up or not on the back one. There we go. You could turn this into like a little swing. You could just remove the bottom parts, and attach some hanging chains and make it look like a swing. I just want mine to be an actual bench. I'm not really looking to make a swing out of it. I don't want to do this. Don't know if this is going to look right. I'm going to try it though. Again, I'm just guessing the angles because I can't really tell what it's at. So it's probably going to be a little bit warped. I have to make adjustments here and there just to get it to line up. You can see that looks a little closer, more in line with the front, and this is like way off. Just kind of making a little archway for it, sort of. Even this doesn't look right. Just tweaking it. It's one way to get some vines and stuff. Well, probably thinks it's a little mouse or something with the tail and everything. Someone called me, my character, a squirrel the other day. Said, I thought that was a squirrel decor, but that was you standing on the picture. Some screenshot I had done. Okay, so we have that. I try and get that a little bit more straight. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? But I kind of like the bow, but I don't like this, you know, funny. I'm going to try and match it up so it's got that same little bit. Just something interesting for it. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't have to be any kind of fancy. Let's see, maybe some plant bowls, like little containers hanging here might be all right. You could probably use the hanging plant. That would probably work. But we're going to use, I don't know, what kind of windows do we got? Yeah, see, I've got a couple of these floor ones with the baskets already in them. I'm going to see, may not work, but I'm going to see if I can just kind of, oops, it just doesn't want to do it. Plant that there. We're going to get this kind of straightened up a little bit. This is, again, probably one of those little details that, well, I don't think it's going to work because this is actually not solid. I think you get the idea. I'm thinking of like using it as a tray holder and just hiding the rest of the window. Kind of small, on the small side. That might not work really. And that'd be great. Let's try something else. You could do maybe, let me think. Well, you could do the hanging plants probably, and that would be all right. Let's see. I think I have, well, yep, apparently I do. I have a couple of them. Well, for crying out loud, I keep closing this stuff. I don't mean to. So the tricky part about this is since the trellis itself is kind of at an angle on the one side, you're just going to have to kind of set this up the way you want, and then just kind of think in the brackets inside the trellis part, and just ignore that you can see it. Figure out, you know, the height, position, and all that, and then just kind of go with it there. Just make sure this is, you know, good up, straight up and down. You don't want it to follow the angle of the trellis, because that'll look a little weird. I think that looks okay. We'll just duplicate that. That's another buggy thing, I think, is when it duplicates, it offsets it sometimes, and that makes it annoying as well. And decide if that's just right or if it looks crooked. I think that looks all right. You could probably do other things, even add some more of these the teal flowers up inside here, just to kind of bring that blue a little bit more. I've used them so much down here, I don't think I really want to do that. It's bad enough that the hanging plants are that way, but just some ideas. I did say I wanted to add a mailbox somewhere. I still am not sure where is the best location for that. It feels a little rude to put it right directly up at the house, because then whoever's coming to visit always has to go right up to the house. But it feels kind of strange to put it way out here as well, so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe the best way is to, like, halfway sort of, and put it somewhere right in here. But I don't know if I want to build it inside the archway or not. I'm also wondering if I should add some more flowers and stuff. I'm going really kind of orange with this. As far as lots of flowers, I want this to have lots of flowers, mostly concentrated right around the house. I'm not really doing flowers anywhere else. So I really am not sure if I want to make some little potted areas here to kind of go with the curvature of the wall. Now I added some potted plants here, but kind of stuck with the theme of kind of white and pale bluish with those. I just don't know if I want to add any more to that. I do have a clothesline that I could add in, but I don't know, that almost feels too tacky for this particular build. I got it and thinking, oh, I'm going to use it, because I've never actually, I think only once did I use the hanging clothes, and that was on the pirate house. I did put one there. Other than that, I don't think I've ever used them for anything like that. There's just, I don't know, there's some items that seem a little tacky, like that big gargantuan toilet that we have, the Flush-O-Matic 5000 or whatever. The thing's awful looking. You could put cushions on the bench if you want. Maybe a book, a stack of books. That would work. I just don't know how intricate I want to get. I should check where we're sitting. We're at almost just over 950 now, so we're doing pretty good. I think that will leave plenty of room for however many eggs I decide to hide. So that's good. I didn't want to go too crazy with decorations out here. I guess we'll go ahead and quickly plant out all the little Rowsdowers. Now, I got myself, I feel like I'm losing my voice again. Apparently I already had some on me, on here, but I think I'm just going to leave it at a again, at an odd number. So, oh, where did that one go? He just kind of winky-dinked right down in there, didn't he? Let's see. The full-size ones are at just around 220, so I guess we can pretend this is like a baby one or something. And then we're just gonna duplicate the big one and just kind of randomly put them out here. Because again, I'm letting mine be free-rangey Rowsdowers. There's no fence or corral kind of thing. They're free to go wherever they feel like it. Just keep planting a few. We got what, 4 or 5 now? Maybe 6. Eight. Got some really far roamers here, going all over the place. Hey Sushi, welcome to the show. The add-on that you see popping up when I select an item, that's Lament's add-on. It's called the, I think it's the Toolbox Pro. It's supposed to be an extension of Lament's Housing Decor Manager set thingy. I don't know the name of it. It's like a really long name. Housing Set Decor Manager, I think is what it's called. There is a link to all of the add-ons that I use right there on my Twitch channel page in the resources section. So yeah, it's really handy. It's convenient because it pops up on its own, whereas Katia's you actually have to type in Katia to get the add-on to pop up. It serves the same function. You can copy and clone with hers as well, but a lot of times I prefer the smaller one because again it just pops up on its own, and it's, if I'm just doing quick cloning like I'm doing here with the sheep or the Rowsdowers, then it's easier. If I'm actually cloning for like well, not multiple items, but like if I'm like really making a wall that I want it to be exact, then I prefer to use Katia's for that one, because I use the difference tool with that. But yeah, all of the links to the add-ons that I use are right there on the Twitch channel page. It's basically the same resources that I provide my guild. They have a listing of all of this in our guild forum, and I figured it was just handy to provide that for my viewers as well. But yeah, I find them very helpful. They make things go a lot quicker. I'm going to put one up on this hill here. When I'm working on my alts, I tend to mostly purchase direct from the housing vendor, because part of my goal is to show newcomers or those that don't have access to a lot of the reputation vendors and things like that, that you don't have to have access to all the snazzy, you know, exclusive decor to be able to make a nice house. Other pieces generally come from crafting or reputation vendors and things like that. Like the Rowsdowers, they come from, you can get them either in Algarock or Celestion, I believe. And you don't have to be very high in the reputation. So generally speaking, by the time you get to housing level, you should have already gotten some kind of reputation with either of those locations. So you should be able to get them. There are things that I've used on like my main plot that are a little bit more rare, but I tend to, I focus a lot on housing vendor stuff for the most part. Like my plot on my alt turnip, her entire house is basically just stuff you get off of the vendor. There are some things like for special decorations that I put together for hers that come from crafting, but I've tried to keep it as sensible and accessible to as many players as possible when I'm building most of my stuff, because one, it's easier on me. I don't have to, work on grinding anything up. I don't have to, like a lot of the dungeon decor that you get. I don't go to dungeons ever, hardly at all nowadays. So anything I get from there, it's usually I get one, and it's something I found cheap on the auction house, like the Housing Protostar guide, the NPC that we just had available. I did get one of those, and I bought it for 1 plat off of the vendor. I think nowadays it goes for like 50 or 60 plat, but I don't really showcase those particular items because I know that either you can't get them anymore or they're extremely expensive. So I tend to try and not spend a lot of my bills using those particular items because, even myself, I don't have access to a lot of it. So I go for cheap, I go for easy to get. So yeah, most of my stuff is housing vendor or crafting. That's where most of it comes from. Other stuff might be vendor related, but not a whole lot of it. So like just about everything you see here is crafting and housing vendor. Okay, so we put one little Rowsdower. I've lost count how many we put down, so I have no idea if it's an odd number or not, but I think I'm going to turn him just a little bit. The one adventurous little Rowsdower that found his way up onto the hill here. I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's like some sound. I'm not even sure I can hear it. Gonna have to change the music too, I think. I'll have to get on my alt for that. But if you hear the little squeaking sound, that's because I actually placed, I think it was the Dreg windmill. It's that thing that looks like the windmill's like upright, and it looks like leather pieces and stuff. Yeah, there's a Rowsdower baby right here. See, I didn't forget. Made a little baby. But I liked the sound of it, but I didn't like the look of it. So I decided to give my own windmill the sound. So it sounds like it's, creaking and a little squeaky and needs some oil and stuff. So for anyone that comes by there, that's where that sound is coming from. There's actually a dreg. Let's see, let me see if I can show. Drapes. Maybe it's under windmill. I forget the exact name to these things, so yeah, windwell. Okay, not windmill. Well, it's actually inside. That's what's making the noise, in case anyone is curious. I just made it a certain size, set it inside my own windmill, and called it good. So, no biggie. Well, I kind of did it so quickly, it was probably easy to miss. But yeah, you got to have the token baby Rowsdower. Maybe one of these days they'll actually give us the Rowsdower NPC like they've done with upcoming Arctera stuff like the Pumeras and the boulderbacks and things like that. In fact, I'm surprised this one wasn't one of the first that they gave us, since it's kind of like their mascot. But anyway, so yeah, so we built the shelter, got a garden now. What else? What else? Oh, well, I never thought about it like that, but yeah, I guess that would be kind of representative of new beginnings. So, gotta have that little baby there. You know, I thought about trying to make like some actual bunnies. In fact, I was thinking about how I might could like make one of these mountains, or these hills. It's not really a mountain. Look like a stone bunny, but I don't think I'm that skilled to get it to work right. But it would be fun. Um, Again, I'm thinking of making this back area a forest. So probably going to have to see if I can get a hold of a little campfire. I think, I don't know if those are craftable or not. No, doesn't look like it. I'll have to see. It might be one of the vendor things. But I've got some granite chairs that I thought we could use. Taking a little bit of a cue from Soccer's Dominion plot, having a little camp out here. Just something for them to kind of, again, it's extra places for me to hide stuff. But I don't know if I want to add some patches of these kind of trees intermittently through here. Like, for example, if I can get this to pull out without having to go wiggy wongy on me. But like, add a little bit more of the bushes and stuff. Kind of outline some of the edging around here to kind of fill it in a little bit more, and then have this little bit of an open glade with some just single trees filling it up here and there. Like, I think it should be smaller, maybe like so, and then have several of these kind of scattered around, and maybe throw in some bramble, just the bush top, to kind of fill it in with extra little hiding places. Oh, is that where that comes from? That's probably why I don't have very many. Well, thank you for that info, Maddie. Maddie, the campfire pro. No, don't send it to me, Soccer. I can do without. There's other fires that you could use. There's the fire pits. Like I could use this one and just show the top of it. I've done that before. It'll work fine. No biggie. Just so that I have some kind of fire. Fire! Gotta have the fire. But yeah, I don't know if that'll look. I'm kind of looking to see if the extra trees looks a little weird. Like having a clump there, and I thought about maybe putting one right here, in fact, moving that little green bit there away. Just adding some extra trees and stuff in, quickly. I'm pretending that this bush is an actual, little clump of forest, but ooh, I feel the sneeze coming on. It's not something that needs to be on film. Oh my gosh. My husband says I sneeze like his grandpa used to sneeze, very loud. He says I hurt eardrums when I sneeze. Let's move this. If you're wondering what that is, it's the top of the ornate Oran pillar. like really sunk down and oversized because I wanted this like young tree. I don't know why, it just seemed like a good idea at the time. So let's see if this will work. Really hard to see these arrows. I think that would look a little odd, leaving it there. Just again, it's a quick way of adding in some more trees and kind of filling in some spacey gaps that you might not want there. It also adds some additional tidy places for me. Oh, well, see, that's a good tip, that the fire pit doesn't count. It's strange what counts and what doesn't. Sometimes you'd think it would count, and it, like the candles, they don't count, but those are actual lights. Granted, they don't actually give off any real light, but it just seems weird. Not that I want them to add them to it, but I just find it odd is all. I don't know if that works or not. I didn't like how it was all leany. That looks okay, I think. Now, I may look at it from another angle and go, ew, because maybe the branches are sticking into the mountain here. You call it a mountain, it's more like a hill, but that looks alright, I think. Might could move the garden area and put a patch right here of trees. Excuse me. I think that might work. Good. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I just like the look of it, so I wanted to use it somewhere. I have no idea where it needs to go. We'll just push it out of the way for now. These would probably be good for like vegetables if you shrunk it down and use it for that. You could put it in the garden. There we go. Gives a little party tent a little bit of springy stuff. Okay, for the cake, we obviously probably need a stack of plates and some silverware or something. It's little things like this that I, oh, wow, you think I got enough plates? It's almost 400 there. Yeah, that's Maddie. I probably would get tongue-tied trying to call them syncropsy or I don't know how to synchropsy. Maddie's easier. You might be familiar with them for the plot on Madigan Alex. They got a really lovely little farm place. You're wondering why I could have so many plates. I believe that's from the fish that I made for a guild challenge way back when. And it just happened that there was like tons of scales on the fish, and I took the time to add every single one of them. It was awful. Again, someone asked about a stack of plates, and they thought we had an actual decor of a stack of plates, and As far as I know, we don't. So you have to make your own stack. Now, this is where I would use Katya's for this because I want them to be evenly spaced between. So I would copy the bottom one on copy slot 1, and then I copy the second one on copy slot 2, and then you just hit clone difference. Oops, that didn't work, did it? Try it again. Make sure I'm hitting the right one. Copy the first one, then copy the second one, and then you should be able to clone and then difference, and it'll bump it up. And make sure you hit the place on the add-on just to make sure that it takes correctly and doesn't give you an error. Yeah, I can understand that, Maddie. For mine, though, I wanted everything to have carrot in it, and apparently there's already a carrot with my spelling on Twitch, so I had to add that little WildStar with the underscore on mine. So this is one of those sad days. You find out you're not so original. So clone and difference twice so that it gets all the way up to the top, and then place, and there you go. So now we have a little stack of plates. They're probably on the big side, but I'm just going to leave them their original size. You could put some kind of a container, a bowl, a dish, a box, whatever you want. I'm just going to use a glass, I think. Notice I checked the crate first because I want to use just whatever I happen to have on hand. We're just going to put down a glass here, and that'll be for the silverware. Now I know that the table itself is kind of crooked, so when I straighten up the item, it might not match exactly, but it's better to do that than to leave it all crooked itself because that kind of throws everything out. So let's see. I know we already have a fork. And we'll just make it a pile of forks. So first we'll get the one inside the glass. I use this when I'm making like a kitchen and I want a countertop. You know how you usually have your utensils, like the spatulas and stuff, in a little container, sometimes in a drawer, but I keep a few in a container. This is how I usually do this. I put the first one in and then I just start arranging it. See how that's kind of twirling on its own? It's weird. Just a few. You don't have to do as many plates as you have. Just like 3 to 5 or so. That's just a representation that that's what that's for, so that you have them all. You don't have to have them like a billion forks and knives laying out. I guess we could have some drinks as well out here, possibly. Maybe I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have a. Look at containers. Just what kind of containers we got. I may get myself a silver keg. I could probably think those are craftable. because I don't think we want to use like the propane tanks and stuff. That might look a little. Let's see, silver one. Yeah. So I'm going to note down that I want to craft up a silver keg, and I'll make a few of those maybe, so we can have some beverages at our little party. And of course, we got our baskets, so we got food, we got drink coming, baskets of eggs, a crate of something, don't know. Might put down some chairs inside here, I don't know. Seems, or boxes, like cardboard boxes showing that that's where all the baskets are stored or something, I don't know. Still undecided on all those little finite details. What in the world? Where did that come from? I think it was when I was messing with something else. I guess it popped out. It was weird. Like the pillow, the haunting of the pillow. Okay, so we're good on the Rowsdower stuff. We've got a new little archway for the bench. Got some more flowers out. So the main things I need to work on is the silver kegs. I need to devise whether I'm going to use a standard as is a mailbox or if I'm going to fashion my own and maybe inset the standard one inside it so that it makes it functional. So I need to think about mailbox and let's see what else we need to do. We've got to deal with the forest thing and some kind of a camp or the campfire stuff. See about working on some things for that. Anything else you guys think this place needs? I don't know if I want to build a vehicle or anything, like a little truck or tractor or something. That seems kind of not necessary. But if you can think of any other kind of building elements that we really should have, that would be helpful. Can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Yeah, I think that's it for today. Like I said, I'm going to try and see if I can line up some PTR homes that we can tour tomorrow. In fact, I was going to try and visit Adelon's places, but either they haven't sorted it out, because you know when you do the PTR copy, you're on your character, you do /PTR copy, and it tells you you'll get a mail when the PTR copy is done. And when you get the mail, then you have to go to the PTR, log into that character, and then you have to actually set up the new name. You can keep it the same name if it's unique to that, but you have to kind of like confirm that it's actually on the PTR before it becomes available, because I don't think people can visit the plot until you do that. So I'm hoping that's all that he's forgot or they've forgotten to do, and maybe we can get that lined up for tomorrow. If not, we'll be back here on this plot. Those are some good suggestions, Manny. I'm going to write those down. The hay wagon. I know that we have an actual hay wagon piece, but I don't know how easy it is to get a hold of one. And even if there's some on the auction house, they might be kind of expensive, because those came with Shades Eve, I believe. So we might use that as a inspiration and build our own. I think that might be fun to build our own. And then the orchard, that's another good idea. That would like include a ladder and probably a bucket for some of the fruits that you collect. So hay wagon and orchard. So yeah, we've got several things we can work on tomorrow if the PTR thing doesn't pan out. But I'm gonna, keep my fingers crossed that we'll get to visit the PTR for tomorrow, just to kind of go into the weekend on a little bit of a high note. Other than that, nothing really major specific is coming up. There is my 50th episode coming next month, which I will be posting an announcement for that probably in a couple weeks. Um, I'm anxious to do it, but I don't want to do it too soon because by the time it actually rolls around, people will have forgotten and gotten bored with it and not interested. So I don't want to drag it out for too long. As it is, once I post, it'll probably be like exactly a month from then. But I do want to give people time to be able to submit um, their favorites from over the year that we've been uh, hosting these house tours. So be looking for that in the next couple weeks. Other than that, we're just going to stick with our usual schedule, just me fiddling around on my own plots through the week. And of course, on Wednesdays, we do have the house tours. That means next week will be Dominion's turn since we had Exiles this week. So yeah, most of the houses that I've been showing are ones that I've just found randomly while visiting. They're typically among the houses that I post on the forum in the Amazing Builders threads that I maintain. But if you happen to come across any homes, whether it be on Dominion side or Exile side for Jabbit EU, and you think I would be interested in at least knowing about them to be able to list them on the list, or possibly additionally touring them on the stream, feel free to let me know. Even if it's yours, a friend's, a guildmate's, one that you just happen to come across anyway. I'm always happy to do that because, when you do the random visitor tool, sometimes it just does not pull up any new names. It's like the same ones over and over and over again, even though there's probably literally hundreds out there. So any help in that respect that I can get from you guys is more than welcome. In fact, I believe it was Maddie that mentioned a couple yesterday. I did happen to find one of those. The other one I'm still hunting for. The one that's called, let's see, what was it? The Starset Lodge. I haven't found that one. I did find the other one though, so that one will be added the next time we do an update. But yeah, it's helpful for me. It saves me time, of course, but it just ensures that I don't miss any of those really amazing places that deserve some extra attention. So yeah, feel free to mention those either in the thread or in-game mail, or however you want to get a hold of me. It's fine. Thank you guys for all of the tweets and the retweets and the follows. Again, it's not really required with the following and all of that, but I do appreciate it. It just kind of gives me an extra oomph knowing that folks are interested. And yeah, I don't know. I will keep my eye open for it though, Maddie. Yesterday evening, I think I got the kind of little glitchiness with the search tool where you have like, I don't know, 15 or 20 names, and it was the same 15 and 20 just scrambled every time, so it wouldn't give me any new ones. So I kind of got frustrated with that. Like no matter what I did, I logged in and out a couple times trying to get it to reboot or whatever. But this morning it seems to be a lot of different names that they were showing me yesterday. So maybe I'll get lucky and find it today. But it's just one of those things that I'll keep an eye out for. But unless I know specifically the name of the person, it's harder to find it if you're going by the name of the plot. And it could be too that if, for instance, like if they changed the name recently, that could be a factor as well. Maybe the finder is showing the old name and the new name hasn't actually registered yet. I've had that a couple of times. Or I will see a name of a plot, I'll go to it and it's under a different name, weirdly. So it could be any number of things. But yeah, if you run across it again or any others, feel free to let me know. I appreciate it. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you had fun. It's nothing fancy. You know, if you missed one of these kind of shows, it's not that big of a deal, but definitely uh, welcome the company. I appreciate the chatter and everything, and it helps keep me going. Um, so until tomorrow, or whenever you happen to come in again, I hope you guys have a great day. It looks like the sun is finally out. It almost seemed like it snowed a little bit last night, so I was a little worried about that, but I guess the temperature is coming up again. So, yeah, it's one of those things. So, you know, if you're somewhere where it's cold, hope you stay warm and vice versa, and hopefully nobody gets sick. You know, knock on wood, that we all stay healthy. But thanks again, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.